Hi, this is Tim from UK Home Gym, your home for UK specific, independent home gym tips and advice. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about mirrors. Should you get one for your home gym? Do you have one in your home gym? What are the advantages and disadvantages of having loads of mirrors or a couple of mirrors in your home gym? So if you've ever been to a commercial gym, you've probably been almost overwhelmed by the amount of mirrors that you'll see all over the place. And there certainly are some very distinct advantages to having mirrors in your home gym and sort of following that sort of plan, that layout plan that you may have seen in a commercial gym. One of the most obvious advantages is obviously that you can check on your form and you can see, very obvious, you get a very immediate cue to see if you're doing something wrong, and that can be extremely helpful, particularly when you're working out on your own in your home gym. That is great, and I will admit to that. The second big advantage, I think, of having mirrors in a home gym, particularly in the UK, where space, British homes tends to generally be a lot smaller than homes in continental Europe, in America, in other parts of the world. Space is limited. And what mirrors tend to do, particularly if you've got very big mirrors on a mirror that would sort of cover almost the entirety of a wall, that kind of mirror can really, particularly if you've got your home gym in some sort of shed in the garden or some sort of structure in the garden or in a garage or something like that, it can give the impression that the gym is a little bit bigger than it actually is. It makes things look very spacious. I'm sure that a lot of home improvement experts would probably say, if you want a room to look bigger, put mirrors in there or strategically put mirrors in certain parts of the room, and that will help, make the space look less cramped, which, you do want it to feel a little bit less cramped. I can certainly understand anyone with that kind of thought. I think those are two very distinct and obvious advantages. Maybe a smaller advantage also will be, that it is some sort of an ego boost sometimes. It's sometimes you're working out and a particular muscle is being strained, and you're looking at it and you think, oh, that muscle looks pretty big. I must be doing something right. So there is certainly that kind of element to it. I think it would be remiss of me not to sort of mention it, but I think that's sort of like a sub-benefit, really. So now let's look at some of the drawbacks of having mirrors in your home gym. And the first one I would think is, for me, it's the most obvious one, is that mirrors do take up a lot of real estate in your home gym. If you think of the kind of mirror that you've seen in a commercial gym, they tend to be this sort of full wall length mirror, which is, it's lovely, it looks very nice in many cases, and it does have, as I was saying before, that sort of space enhancing element. But I think that's a lot of space to give over to a mirror, which you could really use for other things, including storage, including, you can have things attached to the wall that you might use as part of your home gym. I certainly do, like some of my pulleys and DIY pulley setups, use part of the wall, and you may have a pull-up bar that you want to put into the wall. And these very long, very tall mirrors that you would get for a commercial gym, they really would take up a lot of space. Now you may think, well, I don't need such a big mirror. I'll get like the kind of mirror that you might put on the back of a bathroom door, or put in a bedroom in the UK. But I think that kind of mirror is not going to have the effect that you want it to have. It's going to be very small. It will only be, you'll only be able to see it from a certain angle, and it won't have that space enhancing look. You won't do all of your exercises there in front of that little mirror. So I think that, from that perspective, you probably don't really want to have a mirror in that case. The second reason that for me really strikes me is I don't want my home gym to look like a commercial gym in any way, and I've made this point before in another video, but I think that actually not having mirrors, is one of the sort of benefits of having a home gym. I like the Spartan setup. I like it to not look like a home gym. I like to sort of remove that sort of ego element that I was talking about before. And I think it should be a simple space. I'm not saying be totally minimalist about it, but certain elements of minimalism, I think, do behoove a home gym owner. And I think sort of taking out that thing, the idea of having, uplifting music sort of pumping out of some speaker or something like that, and lots of cardio equipment and mirrors everywhere and bright lights and stuff like that. I think that is part of the quintessential commercial gym experience, and I think the home gym experience should be scaled back, and it should be something that you don't have to be in that kind of space, that commercial gym space. It makes you feel a certain way. I don't even know if I can explain it, being in a commercial gym, but in a home gym, you're in there to lift weights, to do your exercises, and to get out, and that's it. And I think that whatever else is associated with it, whatever else sort of detracts from it, you should remove. And for me, mirrors are one of those things. Now, I think that I should probably come back and address one of the points that I mentioned when I was talking about the advantages of having mirrors, and that was, it's a great sort of help for form. Now, yeah, if you've listened to everything I've said and thought, well, yeah, that's all well and good, or what you've said about not having mirrors, but, I want to check on my form. I think there is a better way than checking your form with mirrors, and that is to use your mobile phone or use a camera or something like that, and position it in a better way, so that you're not, for me, to be honest with you, I don't think having a mirror in front of me has ever really improved my form on any particular lift. I mean, there are certain exceptions, and I would say certainly if you're doing something in terms of mobility, for example, there's a mobility move that I quite like, where I sort of lift like a yoga strap around my head, and if I do that in front of a mirror, then I can address certain imbalances and stuff like that. But I think if it's more of a move, an activity where I'm lifting heavy weight, for that particular kind of thing, I think that the camera option is a lot better, because you can position that. For example, let's talk about squat, okay? If I'm doing like a barbell back squat and looking at the mirror in front of me for form cues, I can't really see very well from that angle. I can't see what I want to see. What I want to see is myself from side on. I want to see the depth of the squat. I want to see how my back's behaving when I'm doing that. And I can't really see that from looking in the mirror in front of me. I'd rather have a camera set up to the side of me, do the exercise, rack the weight, go back and have a look at the camera from the side. It gives me a much better perspective. And I think that's something that we can do. So all you need to do for that is buy a tripod. It's very inexpensive thing to have, and you just put that up next to you, and then you sort of self-coach yourself from that. You look at the exercise and you think, right, well, what could I have done a bit better here? What could I improve on? And that works for most exercises. I'd rather see what I look like side on than front on. And you can't really do that with a mirror. Even if you were to try and sort of have a mirror set up to your side, you'd be sort of looking at that rather than focusing on what you're supposed to do. The best thing is have that all going on in the camera. you're not paying any attention to it. You finish your set, you go over, you look at it, you get all of the cues that you really need to do and try and incorporate that for your next set. So, in conclusion, I really don't think that your home gym needs to have mirrors. If you want to have them in there, and if you've got the space for them, of course, who am I to say don't do it? But I just think that if you're setting up a home gym, mirrors should be like the bottom of your priority list, or not even on there at all. And I think that you probably benefit from that in most cases. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments below if you did, or if you have any questions, or if you disagree with me. I'd love to hear from you. Please do check out our homepage, that's ukhomegym.com, and please leave any questions below. I'd love to hear, if you have any video ideas or anything like that, anything you'd like me to cover in the future. That's all for today, and I'll see you next time on UK Home Gym.